Todd Hustis. This is my wife, Stephanie Hustis. We're Naomi's and Sarah's parents. Naomi is 15, Sarah is 11, and both of our girls here have Down syndrome. My first wife and I had 4 kids. Stephanie and her first husband had 7 and 1 adoption. I lost my first wife to cancer. She lost her husband to cancer. So the day we got married, we had 12 kids. And then Sarah is the only biological child between the two of us.
When I was pregnant with Naomi, all of her ultrasounds showed a normal baby. When she was born, being the 8th child that we had, I looked at her face. She had the little epicanthal folds in her eyes. She had the simian crease in her hands. To be honest, I was heartbroken for her. When Sarah was born, we did the ultrasounds and things, but Sarah's nuchal fold was positive for Down syndrome.
She was 4 pounds, 10 ounces. She had holes in her heart. We're worried that she wouldn't make it through the night. She spent the first 5 weeks of her life in the NICU. And at 6 months old, she had open heart surgery.
There was a lot of fear initially.
I'm Lauren. My son is Will. He's 10. Will is nonverbal, but he's really good at nonverbal communication. He's had developmental delays since he was 10 months. He was diagnosed with autism, epilepsy when he was littler, and he was 1 as soon as I knew things weren't quite developing normally for him. When Will was diagnosed finally with something when he was 6, it's called a whole exome sequencing through genetics. It's called SYNGAP1. It's a newly discovered syndrome. Right now, there's 500 kids diagnosed in the world. It's really rare. Not being able to talk, he was aggressive and scratching and biting and screaming. It was all day. We would have a hard time having people that would stay and be able to handle him, and I was never that comfortable leaving him alone with them. It was really hard when he was little. I have another son. He's 12. Colin was there dealing with it just as much as I was. Colin was coming with me to all of Will's appointments, and I never got any time with Colin. I was working from home. I was working at night. It was me and the boys all day long, and I didn't have help, and I could have asked for help, but it was hard.
I was a full-time mom. I decided that I was going to go back to school and become a nurse, and realized we were going to need some type of care provider specifically for Sarah and Naomi. My clinicals were sometimes 12-hour shifts, and his work would go until 4:30, 5 o'clock. My older kids that are in high school are doing sports full-time. They're not available. The rest of our adult kids all work. We don't have anybody available to just pick them up. How to make sure that both Sarah and Naomi were taken care of and stayed safe was we utilized respite care.
I heard about respite care through another mom who was at speech therapy. We went to the orientation, and it was that was it. That was the place for Will. It gives him a chance to do something different and more independently, away from family. The very first reason I started was so I could spend more time with my older son. He gets to also have a break from a lot of the daily things of having a special needs brother. Having people who know kind of what we're going through, just being accepted and understood, not judged for the way we do things, is a big deal.
Hi, my name is Soren, and I'm a child care specialist here at Respite Care. When I was growing up, my mom was the special education teacher at Oland Elementary School. I was always in my mom's classroom and interacting with those students, and one of my absolute best friends in this world, his name is Corey Breslin, and he has Down syndrome, and we've been best friends since the 1st grade. My whole life growing up, I remember being enriched in the whole culture. I was looking for a job in high school, and with my mom's experience in special ed and growing up around it, it seemed like a perfect fit for me. We're very, very lucky that we have an organization like Respite Care in our community, because organizations like Respite Care are incredibly rare throughout the country. Organizations that provide overnight care and that are on a sliding fee scale are very, very rare to come by. RESPITE gives to families is the face-to-face contact with peers and staff in a safe and helpful and nurturing environment is something that's absolutely irreplaceable. Those staff have trainings in seizure management, medication administration, working with behaviors. You have staff that know how to listen and know how to meet your needs and how to understand your behaviors. It's a way that these kids are being heard in ways that they won't anywhere else.
Respite care to Sarah and Naomi is halfway between a second school and a second home. They have people here who love them, they have activities, they have friends. Their friendships are very important. There was a young man here that hadn't spoken, and Naomi is one of his friends, and she was encouraging him. And one day here, he spoke, and that was a victory for Naomi. She got to help him, to see the joy in her heart that she had this accomplishment, that she could help somebody here at Respite. Without Respite, that wouldn't have happened. And I couldn't ask for something that makes me more proud of them for their accomplishments.
A lot of time when Will comes home from Respite, he'll get with me on his talker, which he normally doesn't do. He is a little more into himself, and we'll kind of go through a loop of his obsessions. I'll say, Will, what did you do at Respite today? He's like, I play ball. I laughed. I've heard him say that before. I feel happy. He says that a lot. The fact that it's memorable to him when he comes home from Respite care says a lot. It's enriched Will's life so much that I think without it, he probably wouldn't be the same, honestly.
This is not a place where they babysit kids. This is a place where children are developed, they're educated, they're grown, and the value of respite care is amazing for the quality and the type of care that many parents couldn't get anywhere else. And that to us has been a huge blessing.
It takes more than just mom and dad to really take care of special needs kids. To be a part of the Respite family means that the Respite family is a part of my family. We know we have a resource that we can depend on for our girls to be cared for, loved on, and kept safe. That gives me a whole lot of peace of mind because we are a part of that family.